Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Isaac Stensland Experience, ISE for short. And today I'm here with my special guest, Lincoln Stensland, social media expert, accredited Harvard professor, here to give us his opinions on the TikTok ban. So Lincoln, if you want to introduce yourself a little bit and kind of tell us what you're here to talk about.
I'm here to talk about why they're banning TikTok. I'm an expert because I'm on social media all the time, so I know what's happening.
And obviously you've done in-depth research at your institution.
Yeah, something like that.
All right. So kind of the way that we're going to do this is I'll ask him a question, he'll give his thoughts, I'll interject some of my thoughts in there, and we're going to get to the bottom of this. So starting off, why is the government banning TikTok?
Because the company that owns it, ByteDance, is incorporated in China, so they think that they're like stealing people's information and they're using it in China for stuff.
So that's kind of what I've heard too, is that the company ByteDance is basically gathering all this data on American users of TikTok, and they're then turning that over to the Chinese Communist Party, and the party can then basically track what Americans are doing online. And I've even seen things where it's like ByteDance is kind of manipulating the TikTok algorithm to kind of change Americans' opinions of China and the US, so just to kind of spread some misinformation and fake news. That's kind of what Congress is alleging from my understanding. And is that kind of what you're thinking as well there?
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
All right. So now that we've kind of established what the TikTok ban is and what the reasoning behind it is, I'm going to ask you, do you agree with the banning of TikTok?
I do not. Not because I like to watch TikTok, because I don't even have it on my phone, but I don't think that the government should be able to tell a company that they can't prove did anything wrong, that they have to like sell their company, or they can't, because I feel like it's a violation of the First Amendment, the freedom of speech. And if they can just randomly tell companies that they have to sell their company because the government doesn't like them, basically, then I mean, that's like a power that you're never going to get back from the government.
So you think that TikTok doesn't pose an actual security risk?
Well, I don't know. I don't really think they've proven that it has. I think that, yeah, I don't really think they've proven that it has. And they can't really just ban it without proving anything. I know they had like a congressional hearing, but that was kind of just to like bring them in there and yell at them, and they didn't really find anything out.
That seems like that's kind of what all the congressional.
Yeah, they just like bring them in there and they yell at them.
And they don't actually like
do anything.
So you don't think that banning TikTok is a good idea right now, but if you saw some data proving that TikTok was a security risk, then would you be in favor of it?
I don't know, because you'd have to prove that like the actual company is doing stuff wrong and not just like a couple people, because you don't want to violate the First Amendment by just randomly banning companies and you're kind of putting a damper on them by banning it too. So
kind of the point that I found interesting was that a lot of like the political campaigns and stuff, I don't have TikTok, but like a lot of from like news articles I've read and stuff, a lot of the political campaigns actually have like TikTok pages where they post stuff. Like I know that Joe Biden's did, and I think Trump's did. There's obviously a lot of political stuff that goes on there. I think like some congressmen and stuff might even have TikTok just to kind of like boost their popularity. So if they're using it, then my thought would kind of be, why can we not? Or if it's safe enough for them to use, why is it not safe enough for us to use?
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier all the creators on TikTok who kind of use that to make a living and as a source of revenue. You've seen all the TikTok dances. I think he knows quite a few himself.
I don't know any TikTok dances.
But hey, people make like actual money doing that. So what would be your do you have any concerns there with what kind of revenue and stuff those people could be missing out on? And not really necessarily like the big creators, because they'll probably be fine, but kind of like the small businesses and stuff that use that as a means of marketing their business and product.
To be completely honest, like, I don't know if I really care too much about like I think like if like people are using it to like get their opinions out there, they're using it to like put information out there that wouldn't otherwise be out there, then that's probably a good thing that you don't want to stop. But I don't really care if they have to stop doing the TikTok dances.
I don't either, for the record.
But I don't really care too much about that aspect of it. I would just say that if you're banning the company without proving that they've done anything wrong, then that's not like a power that the government has to just randomly just do whatever they want. Like, that's not allowed. So they kind of can't do that, but they are anyways, which is kind of crazy.
So you don't think there's any actual like evidence as to why they should ban it? I mean, I've kind of
they haven't proven it. Like, there wasn't ever a court case where like, oh, like we went in here and we proved that, yup, TikTok, they be selling all the information to the Chinese. It's like they never even proved that in a court. So how can they go and just be like, okay, like you're banned? Like, you can't just do that. That's illegal.
So you think there would need to be like some sort of trial or
Well, yes,
something besides the congressional yelling?
I think that they should probably like prove that they did something wrong before they just ban them. But I already said that, so
Yeah.
yeah.
What could be some alternatives to banning TikTok?
Well, I know like what they did because like they already banned it or whatever. But what they did was they didn't really ban it. They were just like, oh, you have to sell it to an American company. Which I think is like even worse because like now you have to sell it to a company that the US government has control over. So who's to say that they're not going to do the exact same thing that they're saying the Chinese government was doing, where they're going to collect all this information and put all this propaganda on there because they can do whatever they want because they're going to have complete control over it now because it's going to be a company that's incorporated in the United States.
That's actually a really good point, because when you think about it, it's kind of like legal stealing.
Yeah, it is legal stealing.
Because you're just, like, imagine if the government came to you and said, I don't like your car.
Yeah.
You have to sell it.
You have to
sell it to my son.
Yeah.
Like, they basically have the car.
Yeah, they basically, yeah.
So it's like stealing with extra steps.
Yeah. It's okay, though. Whatever.
Is it? Is it okay?
No, it's not okay.
So, any alternatives you think that could be viable?
Well, that is their alternative. That's like, oh, like, we're not banning it because they don't want all the people who like TikTok to get mad at them.
They don't want to lose the TikTok
They don't want to
dancer votes.
they don't want to lose all the votes of the people who like to dance on TikTok. But that's like their alternative. My alternative, I think, would be go to a court, prove that they actually did something wrong. If you can prove that they did something wrong, then you can actually take action against them. But they never did that. They were just like, they just kind of decided that they did something wrong without proving it. So
It was like packaged together. The band was packaged together with a bunch of other stuff.
yeah,
too.
it was. Well, that's how they.
It was
That's
like
how they. That's how
Ukraine
they.
aid. Well, yeah, that's how they got it.
That's
through.
how they did stuff through like that. It's whatever.
So, really, when you think about it, I mean, if that had been on its own, that might not have stood up to scrutiny. But there was a lot of give and take in kind of that bill package with stuff Republicans wanted and stuff Democrats wanted.
Yeah.
So that's probably part of the reason why it passed in the first place. So, any closing thoughts here?
I think, like I said, that they're kind of overstepping their power here by just randomly banning things that they don't like, and I think that's probably a violation of the First Amendment. I think that they're gonna get sued by TikTok for
I
that.
think they already have been.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, that's probably why. And I think that if they were ever gonna ban it, they would actually have to prove that they did something wrong before they did that.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
This has been another great episode of the Isaac Stensland Experience. I want to thank Harvard professor, social media analyst, TikTok dancer extraordinaire Lincoln Stensland for joining us on this great episode, and we'll see you all in the next one.